Michael Reynolds' world turned upside down in the blink of an eye. One moment, he was driving home after a long day of teaching high school history, and the next, he was swerving to avoid a dog that had darted into the road. His car flipped over, and everything went black. When Michael came to, he found himself floating in a dark, void-like space. He felt weightless, disconnected from his body, and an indescribable fear took hold of him. He was not alone. Surrounding him were countless souls, all floating aimlessly, their faces twisted in anguish. In the center of this dark abyss was a monstrous entity, a god, as Michael would later come to understand it. It was enormous, its size beyond comprehension, and it was devouring the souls that surrounded it. Michael watched in horror as a soul was pulled into the god's gaping maw and consumed, disappearing into the darkness. Time seemed to stretch and warp in this place, and Michael had no idea how long he was there, watching the soul-eating god consume its prey. Just as he felt he would be pulled in next, a bright light appeared, and he was sucked back into the world of the living. Michael woke up in a hospital bed, his body aching from the car crash. But it was his soul that felt the heaviest. The vision of the soul-eating god haunted him, and he knew he could not rest until he found out the truth. Chapter 1. The Crash. As Michael lay in the hospital bed, staring at the stark white ceiling, the images from his near-death experience played over and over in his mind. The dark, abyss-like space filled with lost souls, the monstrous god devouring them one by one. It was all too much for him to comprehend. But even more terrifying than the vision itself was the thought that it might be real, that when we die, our souls don't go to a better place, but are instead consumed by this soul-eating god for all eternity. The fear and uncertainty gnawed at Michael's mind, and he found himself spiraling into a deep abyss of his own. He became withdrawn, refusing to see friends or family, and even stopped going to work. But as the days turned into weeks, a fire ignited within Michael. He wasn't ready to accept this horrific fate without a fight. He began to research, delving deep into ancient texts and religious scriptures, seeking any mention of this soul-eating god. Hours turned into days as Michael pored over books in the library, his eyes growing weary from the strain. His apartment became a maze of stacks of paper, each one filled with notes and sketches of the symbols and images from his vision. But no matter how hard he looked, Michael couldn't find any concrete evidence that this god existed. It was as if it was hiding from him, lurking in the shadows, just out of reach. The frustration and desperation mounted, and Michael began to lose hope. He started to doubt whether his vision was real or just a figment of his imagination, a product of the trauma he had experienced during the car crash. And then, just when he was about to give up, he found it. Buried in an old, dusty book in the back corner of the library, Michael stumbled upon a reference to the soul-eating god. The words leapt off the page as if they were speaking directly to him. It was as if the universe had heard his cries for help and had responded. Michael's heart raced as he read about the ancient civilization that had worshipped this god, how they had built temples in its honor and performed rituals to appease it. And then he found what he was looking for, a description of a ritual that could summon the god. The text was written in a language Michael didn't understand, but he knew that this was his chance to finally get the answers he so desperately sought. With newfound determination, Michael set out to decipher the text and perform the ritual. But little did he know, the path he had chosen would lead him down a dark and treacherous road, one that would challenge everything he thought he knew about life, death, and the very fabric of reality itself. The pages of the ancient texts seemed to come alive as Michael delved deeper into their mysteries. The symbols and characters that once seemed indecipherable now spoke to him in a language that transcended words. The more he read, the clearer the image of the god became in his mind. It was as if the texts were a direct conduit to the abyss, a bridge between the realms of the living and the dead. As the weeks turned into months, Michael became more and more detached from the world around him. The apartment was now a labyrinth of books, papers, and strange artifacts he had collected in his quest for the truth. The windows were covered with thick curtains, blocking out the light of the outside world and leaving the room bathed in an eerie gloom. His friends and family had all but given up on him, the countless voicemails and missed calls a testament to their concern. But Michael didn't care. The only thing that mattered was uncovering the truth about the god and its insatiable hunger for human souls. And then, one fateful night, as he was poring over an ancient text that spoke of gods and monsters from a time long forgotten, he found it. The answer he had been searching for. The text spoke of a god that consumed the souls of the dead, its hunger insatiable, its power unparalleled. The more Michael read, the clearer the picture became. The god was not bound by the laws of time or space. It existed in a realm beyond the comprehension of the human mind, a realm where the souls of the dead were its sustenance. The text spoke of a ritual that could summon the god, a way to bridge the gap between the realms and confront the god face to face. Michael felt a surge of excitement and fear as he realized that he had found the key to unlocking the mysteries of the abyss.